Hello, how are you doing, guys? How is everything? I want to thank you for being a subscriber to this channel if you've already subscribed. Now, if you've not yet subscribed, I want to invite you to click and hit that subscribe button. It's very important that you do so. Also, as I go through this video today, I wanted to share this video. Like this video. If I say something that you like, punch and like this video and then share this video all over so that the word can go out, that we can make the world a better place. Also, I wanted to hit the bell. That notification bell will let you know anytime I come up with a new video. Now, let's get into this. Help! How can I stop immoral sex? I want to deal with this in a very upfront manner, direct manner today. There are many men who are bound and are entrapped in immoral sex. Immoral sex means that you are single, you're a single man, and you're having sex, and you feel they've told you it's a lie. They've lied to you that that's just the way it is. No, God calls it a sin. And God has the highest and the final authority concerning his ideas and principles. Also, maybe you're married, but you're having an affair on the side, and you need to stop. Now, the issue now is this. How do you stop? I want to just deal with the solution straight away. I'm not addressing those who feel like they want to continue, they want to argue about the matter. I want to really talk to those young men, those who are single, or the married man. I want to talk to you about how to put a stop to it, because you can put a stop to it and live a clean, upright, and morally excellent life. All right, so we want to look at that right now. I want to talk about the issue of boundaries. I think that's an area or something that many people never really think about when it comes to stopping sexual immorality. Sexual immorality usually is divided into two: sex by unmarried people, that is called fornication, and sex in which a person who is married is having sex with somebody they are not married to, and that is called adultery. Now, there's a link between fornication and adultery, and you got to understand this, especially if you are single. Now, if you are married, you can look back at your life and you know that what I'm saying is true, but there's a link between fornication and adultery. A person who is single and has been involved in fornication will become a married partner who will fall easily into adultery, because you see, a fornicator is an apprentice adulterer. Yes, I said what I said. A fornicator is an adulterer or an apprentice. That means that, well, if you are fornicating right now, you are training to become an adulterer when you get married. So what am I talking about? A fornicator is a potential adulterer when they get into the institution of marriage. So in other words, fornication is actually adultery in training. So think about your life as a single person. As you lay your bed, you lie on it. The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So if you have already created a foundation of fornication with that girl, with your girlfriend, and all of that, you are also training your girl. It's not only the guy that will become an adulterer when they get married. Even the girl herself will become an adulterer. And that's why we are having a high rate of wives today that are also involved in adultery. It's not only the guys. It's not a game that's the exclusivity of husbands now. Even the wives are going out and are looking for married partners, because that's the world we live in right now. But the issue is, I want to deal with the solution. I want to deal with the panacea. I want to deal with how to stop it right now. So the first thing you got to keep in mind is, if you are single and you've been involved in fornication, you need to stop. So how to stop is still in this video also. So keep that in mind. So if the two of you cheat as singles, you cheat on God's word as singles, a mere ring on the day of your marriage, exchanging rings on the day of your marriage won't stop the pattern of cheating. That is what many people have found out, that, hey, marriage doesn't stop cheating. If marriage stops cheating, so why are there so many situations of that all over the place? That married men, I mean, they never really stop the issue of sexual immorality. So keep this in mind. Don't lay a foundation as a single guy now. Don't lay a foundation for a destructive marriage for yourself. You need to stop fornication right now, and stay celibate, stay pure until you get married. So that is very, very important. But the issue of boundaries play a major role in stopping sexual immorality. What are boundaries? A boundary is like a limit. It's like a fence. A boundary is like a barrier, a line in which you do not want to cross. When you cross that line, when you cross that barrier, when you cross that fence, you know that, wow, I have gone too far. Anytime you move near the boundary, an alarm should go on in you and say, no. This is a boundary I've erected for myself. And when you set up boundaries for yourself and you respect the boundaries, you honor the boundaries, and you do not cross beyond the boundaries, that is how you stay sexually pure and sexually moral. So I want to give you 5 boundaries, 5 walls. You see, boundaries are like walls. They're like hurdles. When you put hurdles in your way between you and sexual immorality, the more hurdles you put in front of you before you get to the action of sexual immorality, the more likely that you will be discouraged and you will give up along the way and say, no, this is not worth it. Or you will come back to your senses along the way, somewhere along the way. Maybe you might scale the first hurdle or the first boundary, you scale the second boundary, but by the time you are facing the third one, you say, oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I going this way? I have set some principles for myself, I will not cross. And then you come back. That is a major reason why people live upright and moral lives, because they have been skillful enough, wise enough to understand that I need to put boundaries between me and the object of my sexual immorality. So, what are the boundaries I will advise you to install? What are the walls? What are the hurdles I'll tell you to be aware of and put in place in your life, because you want to live a morally pure life? There are 5 of them I want to deal with. The first is the boundary of space. The second is the boundary of time. The third is the boundary of language. Fourth is the boundary of touch. And the 5th is the boundary of feelings. Now, I'm going to go through them one by one. Space, time, language, touch, and feelings. Let's start with the first one of space. Whenever you are talking with somebody of the opposite sexual gender, think about where you are. Is the place where I'm talking to this person right? Why should I be in a hotel room with lady talking to them? Even if we say we're not going to do anything, it's wrong. It's a wrong place. The space is wrong. Why should I be alone with a lady in my car? Only the 2 of us are alone in that confined little space. All the windows wound up. This place is wrong. Why am I not in a public place talking to this person? Why do I always want us to always go to a sneaky, quiet corner, somewhere where nobody sees us? The space is wrong. Always ask yourself, this place where I'm talking to this person, is it right? They say, well, she's one of my staff, she works in my office, she's whatever, but is the space right? She and you alone in the office, and the doors are locked. The place is wrong. If you want to talk to anybody like that, sexual opposite gender, sexually, talk to them in the reception, talk to them in the open place, and don't give opportunity or occasion for the enemy. Always ask yourself, is there a boundary of space in my life in which I will not allow ladies to enter into this kind of space? Someone that I'm not married to enter into this kind of space with me. You must erect that and have that in your mind. Number 2 is the boundary of time. Is this time right? You need to ask yourself this question. There are certain times you should not talk to somebody of the opposite gender that you are not married to. You need to talk to yourself and sit yourself down and ask yourself some very serious questions. No night calls. So you don't have any business talking to anybody, whether it is be office work or not. You have no business talking to them at night, anytime after 7 or 8 maximum. Some people do midnight calls with people. You are cutting trouble. You are looking for trouble that way. Set up a boundary of time, a time limit in which I don't care. Don't call me. I won't call people. I only call them during the daytime. All right. I only talk to people when everyone's at work. I'm also at work and I'm talking and I'm That's when I talk to ladies. Nobody calls me, no lady calls me when it is outside of work time and they are saying they were discussing work. No, I have set a boundary. You need to set a boundary. All right. Why should they call you after office hours? That's where the handshake begins to reach the elbow, like they will say. And then I'm talking about the boundary of time. You also want to ask yourself, how much time am I offering this person, this lady that I keep on talking to? Then we talk for 1 hour, then 2 hours, then 3 hours, then 4 hours, and I've got a wife. I should not be doing that. We should just keep it platonic. We talk 1 minute. Where's the file? Oh, it's at so and so desk. That's it. You cut it off. And time, because whatever you give time to, before you know it, even if you feel you didn't like the person before, you will start developing feelings for the person. I'll deal with that in a minute. But the boundary of time, how much time am I offering this person? How much time, especially offering them in a lonely place, in a space that is only the two of us? How much time? This time is too much time. And put up that boundary and say, look, I'm not going to spend more than 3 minutes talking with any lady. That's it. All right? And it becomes difficult for you to get into sexual immorality. Anybody that you've been having sexual immorality with, if you cut them off, or limit the time you talk to them, you will see that all of the feelings will just fizzle away. Number 3, the third barrier, the third boundary, the third wall you need to install in your life, the wall of safety around your life, is the wall or the boundary of language. Language. How do I talk to people of the opposite sex? What language do I use? Am I too free? I call everybody darling, sweetie, sugar. That's being too free. Those are not languages you use for people that are platonic, in platonic relationship with you. What language am I using? Is what I am saying appropriate choice of words? All right? So you want to, all those terms of endearment, you want to knock it off. If you don't want to get into sexual immorality trouble. If you're married, the only person you should call darling should be your wife and maybe your daughter. Yeah, but the wife should be that special person you use all those special languages for. So what you're communicating, your communication, if you're married, the text messages you are sending, is it something that if your wife sees it, the whole world sees it, nobody will bat an eyelid? The kind of language you use, is it just formal language for platonic official work, or it has double meanings, and they're specially crafted to create feelings in that person of the opposite sex? You need to review all of this stuff if you want to live a morally upright life. The barrier of language has to be put up. I will not talk this way with any other lady on earth apart from my wife. And if you're not yet married, then those kind of languages should not come in your way. All right. Then the fourth barrier, or the fourth boundary, the fourth wall, or the fourth order you need to put between you and sexual immorality is the boundary of touch. There are appropriate ways of touching a person of the opposite sexual gender, and there are inappropriate ways. A brief handshake and you drop quickly is enough. A brief handshake is all you need. Don't go beyond that, and keep the handshake very, very brief. Hugging them, pecking them, holding their waist, and all of that will only land you into trouble. The only person you should do that to should be your wife. If you're married, if you're not married, just keep a distance between yourself and people of this opposite sexual gender. If you live your life that way, you'll find that temptations will just fizzle out. I noticed that there are some men, they're always battling temptation all the time. But there are some other men also, hardly do they face temptation seriously, because they've put up these walls and these boundaries anyway. So that way they are not exposed to so much rigorous sexual temptation from the opposite gender. So there are appropriate ways. Do you touch ladies in an appropriate way? Do you just, all you do is give them a handshake, or just want a high five and a brief one? And that should be the farthest you go with a person that you are not married to. No touches. Avoid touches that release sparks. I call them sparks. You know what I mean by sparks? All those electricity and vibes that are of sexual types, and you don't want any of those kind of touches that bring that, because you are sowing seeds for sexual immorality. But if you're serious about living a pure and holy life, then you are going to create a boundary of touch. Please avoid all frontal hugs, all bear hugs. All right, a side to side brief hug, and that's it. If you have to do that to somebody that you know a little bit well, all right. But I prefer brief handshakes. That is, if you keep these things, you will live pure and holy life. You are training even your body to live in celibacy, in purity, and in holiness. And finally, the last barrier I believe you should install in your life should be the barrier of your feelings. Be very honest and sincere with your feelings. Feelings means that, how do I feel emotionally? How am I beginning to feel emotionally about this person, about this my secretary? I have a wife at home, but this my secretary, this girl that is doing youth corps, this girl on attachment, I see her all the time. How do I feel? Do I keep on looking forward to seeing her? Are you beginning to dress so that you can fish for her compliment? Be sincere and honest with yourself. To thyself be true. I think it was Socrates that statement was alluded to. Be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with how you're feeling. And then when you realize it, then you can now kill such unwholesome, immoral feelings. Because really, your greatest and most important sexual organ is your brain, is your mind. Your mind is your most important sexual organ, because as your mind goes, that's where all the other physical bodily organs will go. Sexual immorality, incidentally, is not one of those things that you just slip into without knowing. Sometimes a white lie can just drop before you think about it. But not sexual immorality. You got to plan for it. You got to work towards it. You got to target the person. You got to make a lot of physical plan to go there and make it happen. And so that's the thing about it. So in other words, it is also, if you make up your mind, it is also not so difficult for you to catch yourself that I am already going on this road, and let me go back, let me turn back. Now, put all of these hurdles in front of you. Put all of these barriers, these walls in front of you, and it's going to make it very difficult for you to fall into sexual immorality if you don't want to fall. Remember again, the boundary of space, the boundary of time, the boundary of language, the boundary of touch, and the boundary of feelings. All right, what do you think about what I've shared? Am I onto something? What are your comments? Put your comments on this. Then share this with other people. A lot of people need to hear this and learn these things, these principles. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell and let them know that you want to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you have not yet subscribed, but you've watched this video, I don't just want you to watch it. I want you to subscribe. Press the subscription button right now. Now, until the next time when I come with another video that's going to help you, make sure you keep on walking in line with Christ's principles. Bye.